This is Ben Shalom, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so this game-changing plan that Frank Warren announced about a week or so ago for Tyson Fury may not actually be about an opponent. It may not actually be anything to do with a Francis Ngannou or any specific opponents coming up. Of course, they're still going to be looking for an opponent to get Tyson Fury out in September. But this game-changing thing looks like it could be something about changing boxing. Changing how boxing is run. Fights don't happen. Force fights to happen. The sanctioning bodies don't seem to take control. They don't order mandatories in a timely fashion. They don't order eliminators and final eliminators. There's no organised tournament structure. There's no nothing. So fighters can just sit on certain positions and price themselves out of fights and all those kind of things because the commissions don't get involved enough. And it appears that Tyson Fury looks like he could be looking at something along those lines. Now, for it to be truly successful, then of course, you need many other fighters on board. You need other promoters involved. You need managers and trainers and a whole host of people involved. You do. You can't just have Tyson Fury going solo. Now, it could be that this is his way of getting fans back on side because he's lost a lot of fans over the last few months. He has. And you can see the reactions from like Frank Warren and John Fury and that. Tyson Fury, his reputation went from sky high to touching cloth, hasn't it? Because of the whole ducking Anthony Joshua for Undisputed and then ducking Alexander Usyk. So in some ways, it would be ironic if he was going to make a change in boxing where he's going to force champions to fight certain fighters within a certain time frame and restructure things so fights will happen in a timely manner for eliminators and all those kind of things. It will be ironic of him, of all people, who has been holding up the division lately and cherry picking and taking the path of least resistance for the most amount of money, i.e. Derek Chisora Part 3. It would be a little ironic that it was him that did it. Now, if you all cast your minds back to the rematch between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua, at the end of the fight, Anthony Joshua got two of Usyk's belts after he lost and dashed them. And a lot of people go, oh, there he is, he's being salty, he's thrown his toys out the pram. No, I'll tell you right now, that was always the plan. Well, the plan was for Anthony Joshua to win, get those belts, and then publicly throw them out. To say, I ain't fighting for your biased, corrupt organisations anymore. I ain't doing it. I ain't going to pay you no sanctioning fee. You ain't going to tell me who I'm going to be fighting based on your biased rankings. You ain't doing it. That was the plan. And that's something that I've always wanted people in boxing to do. Just bin off the sanctioning body. Just dash them to the side. Because there's no structure with them. There's no anything with them. For all intents and purposes, a lot of them seem corrupt. I'm not saying they are. If they're not corrupt, then they're quite clearly incompetent. So I wanted a Joshua to do that. I wanted a Canelo to do that. But never in my wildest dreams did I think that it would be Tyson Fury who would do that. And if Tyson Fury is going down that route, then full credit to him. He will be my favourite fighter going forward. I'll tell you, if he gets that WBC belt and publicly does a Riddick Bowe and puts it in the trash and says, I ain't fighting for no Alphabet Commission anymore. That would be mint. It would be mint. And if he can create some kind of organisation or bring people in to create these organisations to run boxing in a more fair and a more, in some ways, harsher reality, a harsher way. If you're a professional fighter, you get to a certain point, well, you're not going to sit there and try and negotiate with a champion what kind of split you should get. This is the split that you're going to get. You want a shot at a world title, this new title, however, then you've got to go through eliminators. Final eliminator, and then you'll get your world title shot, and you'll get it within a timely frame, and it will be based on a percentage. There's no negotiating with any of this. This is how it's going to be. Maybe even introduce some tournament structures. If there's more than one champion, bring them together. Now, it does seem like a little bit of a pipe dream. It does. I mean, to change the metrics of boxing from that capacity, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of people on side. It is going to take a lot of people on side. Maybe Tyson Fury is going to go down the promotional route or management route or something like that. But obviously you can't do it do it on his own. But at least if you just give it a go and said, screw the sanctioning bodies, that would be amazing. I said he'd become my favourite fighter overnight if he actually made a stand. If he did something that Anthony Joshua was going to do, and he was going to go do it, if he did something that I wanted Canelo Alvarez to do, I wanted somebody at the top end to go, screw your belts. If he's going to do that, and then create the structures of boxing, so boxers are no longer sat on the side, turning down fights when they shouldn't be turning down fights because they're asking for too much money. No, it's based on this is what you get as a percentage in this particular situation. So whatever the event generates, you get a cut of that. I mean, in some ways, that would be great for promoters because then they don't have to worry about potentially losing money, do they? Because the fighters will just get a cut of the profits and that, won't they? But anyway, listen, maybe we're way off on this one, and some people say we're way off, and it could be. If the metrics are changing, and that's what he is that he's going on board with, as Simon Jordan alluded to as well, that'd be fantastic. But a lot of work ahead, though. A lot of work ahead. And that would be more game-changing than Eddie Hearn's game-changing announcement when he went exclusive with DAZN. He didn't change the game at all. His product dipped, if anything. But this would be game-changing. It would be. Of course, that would mean probably no undisputed between Fury and Usyk or whatever. It could mean that. Or, unless he's got all the sanctioning bodies together to agree on these new rules. Anyway, maybe just pie in the sky stuff. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.